Section 2.2, Fractions and Mixed Numbers. A fraction is just a comparison of two whole numbers. So for example, this fraction of 2 over 6, the 2 is the numerator and it represents the number of parts. The 6 is the denominator and it represents the number of equal sized parts to make one whole. So we can see in the example of the pizza that the denominator has 6 equally sized pieces. So where would the 2 come from? Well, let's look at an example. Say that I ate 2 pieces of pizza. If the question is how many pieces of pizza have been eaten, the number of parts would represent the 2. That's the number of pieces that I've eaten out of 6 equally sized pieces to make one whole. Conversely, if I ask the question how many pieces of pizza remain, well, the number of parts would be 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 4 pieces remaining out of a total of 6 pieces to make one whole. So that fraction would be represented by 4 over 6. A proper fraction is a fraction that has a numerator which is smaller than the denominator. 4/5, 1/3, 9/10 are all examples of proper fractions. Notice the 4 is less than the 5, the 1 is less than the 3, and the 9 is less than the 10. 7 over 2 is not a proper fraction because the 7 is greater than the 2, so it doesn't qualify as a proper fraction. An improper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is equal to or greater than the denominator. 6/5, 5/3, 11/10 are all examples of improper fractions. The 6 is greater than the 5 is greater than the 3, and the 11 is greater than the 10. Let's take a look at an example of a pizza and how that is represented as an improper fraction. Okay, so in this illustration, we still have pizzas that as a whole pizza contains 6 equally sized pieces. So our denominator remains 6. The numerator represents the number of pieces. So if we count the pieces, well, the whole pizza obviously is going to have 6 slices, and then we have 4 more in the partial pizza. If we add the 6 plus the 4, we would have a total of 10 equally sized slices out of a pizza that contains 6 slices per pizza. So this illustration is reflected in this improper fraction. Let's look at the idea of a mixed number. A mixed number contains a whole number and a fraction written together. 2 2/5, 4 1/3, 6 3/10 all represent mixed numbers. The 2 represents the number of wholes, and then the 2/5 represent the part that remains. Let's use our pizza as an illustration. If we look at this, we clearly have one whole pizza right here, so the number of whole pizzas would be a 1. And then this is a fraction of a pizza, and so to write that as a fraction, well, the pizza still has 6 slices per pizza. The number of pieces that remain add up to 4. So this illustration written as a mixed number would be 1 4/6, one whole pizza and 4 slices out of a 6-slice pizza. we can convert mixed numbers to fractions. So for example, this illustration shows 2 whole pizzas and then part of a pizza containing 4 slices. Again, the 2 represents the number of whole pizzas and the 4 represents the number of slices in the fraction of a pizza. Here are the steps to convert mixed numbers to fractions. Step 1, multiply the denominator times the whole number. So in this illustration, the whole number is the 2, the denominator is the 6, and why do we do this? Well, since there's 2 whole pizzas and each pizza contains 6 slices, then it makes sense that we multiply the number of wholes times the number of slices. So 2 times 6 would yield 12. That would be the number of slices contained in all the whole pieces. Next, we would add the numerator to that product. Well, the numerator in the fraction, in this case, is the number 4. We have these 4 slices left over in the fractional part. So if we take the number of slices in the whole pizzas and add the number of slices in the partial pizza, that yields a total of 16 slices. And last, we write that sum over the denominator. And that makes sense, because the denominator represents the number of equally sized pieces in one whole, which is 6 slices, and 16 represents the total number of slices in the 2 and partial pizza that remains. Let's just do a few of these quickly as just to illustrate and reinforce the concept. If I want to convert this to a fraction, the first step is multiply the whole number times the denominator. So 2 times 5 would be equal to 10. I then add the numerator, the number of pieces that are left, which is 2, which totals 12, and the denominator is the number of pieces in one whole, which is the original denominator, 12 over 5. Number of whole times the denominator, 4 times 3 would yield 12. We add the numerator for a total of 13, all over the original denominator. One more. The whole times the denominator, 6 times 10 is 60. We add the numerator, which is 3, for a total of 63, out of an object that contains 10 pieces in a whole, so the denominator is 10. We can also convert an improper fraction to a mixed number. As we illustrated before, the total number of slices in this illustration, there are 16 slices of pizza, and each pizza contains 6 equal slices. If we want to convert this from improper form to a mixed number, we simply do the division represented by the fraction. This fraction means that it's 16 is getting divided by the 6. So we complete the division as we've learned before. 6 can go into 16 at most 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract 6 minus 2 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0, and as a fraction we have 2 whole, which is represented up here as the quotient. The remainder is the number of parts left over out of 6 equally sized parts per one whole. Just a few more examples. 31 over 7, well, 31 is being divided by 7. 7 can go into 31 at most 4 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract. 1 minus 8, I have to borrow. So this is an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. So my remainder is 3. So the result is 4 wholes and 3 out of 7 equally sized parts. One more. 42 is being divided by 5. 5 can go into 42 at most 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract. I get a remainder of 2. So 8 whole. Remainder of 2 out of 5 equally sized parts. That concludes section 2.2.